Terrificals 12 now. Issue 11 was the best issue of the series yet. And issue 12 is the exact same comic again. Firstly, this cover is a reference to that popular band, the Beatles. Ask your granddaddy about them. He probably bought their Woodstock album and smoked a cannabis. This though is like the cover to their second or fourth album, Meet the Beatles. I can never remember which. I always get Meet the Beatles and With the Beatles confused. I'm inclined to say that this was their second one, because then the title makes a bit more sense. It doesn't really work for the fourth album to be called Meet the Beatles when you've presumably already met them on one of the 3 other albums before it. This comic though, none of the Beatles are even in it. Not Ringus, not Paul Beadle, not even John Legend. None of them are in it. I don't know why they did this cover. We open up and someone is whacking Mr. Terrificals in his face space, and it looks like it hurts a lot. I really like this artist, by the way. He reminds us of Greg Batman from the New 52. And Mr. Terrificals, he is being beaten up by the Frightfuls. They are Dr. Doom. He has assembled a team of evil versions of the Terrificals from across the multiverses. So now, Albino Man, he is like in armour, and the Invisible Girl has become the Invisible Boy. That's a fucking patriarchy right there. And unfortunately, Elastic Man, he is a Dracula, and I'm sorry, but they frighten me so much. No wonder they are called the Frightfuls. And we do start off this issue really well, really promising. Seeing the fight with Mr. Terrificals, and I was hoping that this issue would show us more of that, but instead we are focusing on the same story beats as last time, and just progressing them a little bit to their natural point. Last issue was great. I thought it offered a nice insight into each character individually. But I didn't want every issue to be like that, especially since nearly all these scenes are mostly just reiterating the same points as last issue. Like here, Invisible Girl, she wants to go back to Earth because on her invisible planet they all wear these ugly clothes. And this is the only bit we really needed to see. The scene showing her leaving her invisible planet. Because everything on the page before was established last issue. Albino Man, exact same stuff as before. He wants to get his powers back. We do have the cute cat though. Always nice to see one of them in a comic. Elastic Man and his son. And this one, it does progress it a lot more than the others, but it actually takes it in a direction I didn't really like. I think it resolves the whole thing far too quickly. Last issue, we set up how Elastic Man, he was a bad dad, and his son didn't want anything to do with him. And in the space of these 2 pages, it's resolved and they are happy again. This seemed like a fairly sensible way to get Elastic Man back with the Terrificals. His real family didn't want him, so his would-be second family can have him. And having the father-son dynamic immediately resolved, it robs it of any narrative benefit for Elastic Man. Like, his attempts to win his son back around, that could motivate the character for years or decades. It seems a spectacular waste of a fairly routine but usable idea. I do wonder if this is just being quickly wrapped up because the book is being axed at issue 16 or whatever. But I also really hate how it is resolved. I mean, the scene itself is fine. I just think that resolving it and how they resolve it is bad. To win his son's favour, he goes and nicks the Batmobile. Firstly, this is a broken idea. We have seen loads before that the Batcave and the Batmobile, they are heavily guarded and booby-trapped, and even though they are both elastic, there is still traps and gimmicks that I'm sure Batman has come up with to prevent people with malleable forms from hijacking his car, because like he fights Clayman all the time. Secondly, this isn't resolving anything. This is making his son look like a vapid, materialistic, shallow Hal. Oh, you weren't my dad, but oh well, you drove us around in Batman's car for 10 minutes, so it's alright. Invisible Girl, she goes to the Terrificals Tower to get the rest of the team, and an advert for Young Justice again. Don't worry, I won't say out. We see a little bit more of the fight here, the interesting fight that has been pushed into the background. And Albino Man, he gets ready to smash the thingy to give himself his powers back. And the future of the fourth world is female. Suggesting that in the 1970s, Jack Quimby never created these strong female characters. And it's only now in the progressive 2019 that finally women are taking the spotlight. I was actually gonna get this series, I was looking forward to it, but that tagline has put me off entirely. I've got no interest in it now. So Albino Man, he gets his powers back. It took a whole issue to get there, but he got his powers back because the cover doesn't give that away. I wouldn't say that this is a failure. I mean, last issue, most of this stuff was great. This issue, it's just kind of the same scenes. One with some really weak payoff, the Elastic Man one. And I really think this is another fumble for this series. And the interesting element, last issue we ended with these Fightfuls. That was the hook, so this issue should show them. The cover even suggests that that is what we're going to do this issue, but we only saw them in the first 3 pages. I rate this one a disappointed 7 thumbs up.